Well, as you can see, it's fall here in Canada, specifically in Ottawa. The leaves are falling. Some of them are yellow, some of them are red, some of them are still green. But it's the time of year where most people start thinking of what's next. Winter's coming up, so we're preparing ourselves to be comforted in our home, while others are still thinking of, now what? What do I do? Summer's over and fall is here. My name is Linda Robert. I'm your solution lady and your coach, and I'm here to talk about a couple of things that came up recently. The last couple of videos that I did were on meditation, as well as reaching out to friends, especially when you need that comfort. So the word comfort, especially during the accident and the results of the accident, came up a lot. I noticed that I was needing to be cuddled. I was needing to be comforted. So I reached out to friends, but I also noticed that I reached out to certain foods, and I wasn't sure why. Then I had to think. I was going through a very difficult and challenging time. I was really stressed out with what was going to be happening. And I was reaching out to be comforted. So a couple of things to keep in mind is when you're going through a difficult time, you might be doing things that you're not expecting. You might be reaching out for certain substances, food, alcohol, maybe smoking more cigarettes than what you would normally do. Pay attention to that. Pay attention to that because you may not be aware of the why you're doing it. In my case, I was reaching out for some sweets when the word comfort was coming to me. It was almost like a little whisper. Comfort, you need comfort. So once I was able to identify what it was that I needed, I was able to then find the right solutions to bring me comfort. In this case, it was reassurance. It was talking to friends that I knew would be able to reassure me that everything was going to be fine. And I needed to really believe that everything was going to be fine. So it was reaching out again to my own spiritual belief that knows that everything is going to be fine. I also needed to practice living in the moment as much as possible. So that's some of the things that I learned recently. More so now, even though I set a plan to reach out to friends, I also need to be spending time by myself. Here's what I mean. So I've been trying to reach out to friends to go for walks or to go out for dinner. But sometimes the timing just isn't right. And if I want to go for a walk, for example, I should still go for the walk. So this is where we sometimes choose not to continue to look at self-care. For example, I wanted to go for a walk today on this beautiful, beautiful fall day. And I had asked a friend to join me, but she couldn't make it at the end. Now I could have chosen not to go, which, believe me, would have been really simple not to do, which would have been simple to do, is just not going. But the walk wasn't so much about having company. The walk was about getting out there, enjoying the fresh air, and just being a bit more physical. So it was a need that I had that I would have loved to share with someone else, but circumstances were. So I could have chosen to stay at home and not be able to meet that need that I do have to get out there, be a little bit more physical, get some exercise, and just appreciate the beautiful nature. So while on the one hand, we do want to reach out. Now, we're talking about when we're single, and even if we're married, we do want to reach out. We want to extend our hand and invite others to join us on our adventure, on our journey. But it's not always possible unless you choose to have friends that are toxic. And I'm not talking about that. So it's not always possible. So, at the end of the day, you have to do things on your own and take the initiative to simply spend time by yourself. So that would be one tip, is are you stopping yourself from doing something because the circumstances aren't right for anybody else? I want you to be thinking about that. Is there anything that you want to do, that you'd love to do, but that you're not doing because you're hoping that somebody else reaches out to you and says, yes, I'll do it with you? If that's the case, I'm going to suggest that you look for alternatives. Now, when it comes to anything, you can do pretty well anything on your own. And I'm not going to start talking about here being absolutely, completely, independent. No, I don't believe in being completely independent. I believe in interdependence. But I'm talking about sometimes when it comes to maybe traveling, or when it comes to taking a walk or going for a bicycle ride, there's always strategies to think of. How can I still do what I want to do and manage to do it on my own without relying on this one person? So that's another suggestion for you out there as well. Just going to stop here and look. Look at what's behind me. Sometimes we don't look at what's behind us. Sometimes we don't think of what's happened in the past. We don't want to stay too much time here in the past. Good memories are always worth cherishing, but we want to look at what's in front of us, the possibilities of what lies ahead. And we also want to be in the present moment as much as possible. So this is Linda G. Robert, your solution lady and your coach, with the tips for life again. Have yourself a wonderful day, and for more information, please visit my website at www.lindagrobert.com. Thanks. Bye-bye.